Okay, now that we have the background relieved, and like I said before, there's lots of different ways that you can go about doing this. It's really up to you and the equipment that you have. In fact, if you don't want to take the time to relieve the background, do a nice wide trough around the outside perimeter of the design and go ahead and start on the flower. All right, it's really up to you. This is a practice piece. This is to get good at it so that you can go and do it on other more expensive and exotic materials and woods. So it's up to you what you want to do. Either knock it down. What I prefer to do whenever I'm practicing or anything is to go through all the steps that I would normally do on a expensive project. That way I know that I can do all the steps, I know what's involved, and there's no surprises. Knocking down the background with a little tiny diamond wheel like this, it may be time consuming. Yes. It may be frustrating for some of you. Yes. But guess what? Not every project you work on is going to be a flat surface. And if it's not a flat surface, then a router is not all that useful. So, to get it done, sometimes you will end up resorting to using the diamond wheel. On a flat surface, go ahead, use your router, use your other carbide tools that are larger, your other power tools. Whatever you've got available, go ahead and knock down the background so you can focus on the most important part of carving the flower. Now, the background in a finished project, in a fine art piece, the background is just as important as every other element in it. The only thing is the background has to be removed. Or if you're doing an inverted relief carving where the background stays flush and all you do is sink the flower down into the material, well, that's a difference. But for this project, we're removing the background so that you can get used to doing it and so that it's comfortable, you've got control of the handpiece. This is fairly flat. You know, there's a couple high spots if you were to come through here and look at it on the edge. You know, it's not perfect. It really is. It's not a perfect thing. This is not the final background that we're going to be doing for this piece. Once we get finished with the flower portion of the carving and it is completely done, I'm going to go back in and show you how to stipple the background to make it really pop. It really separates the flower from the background and looks fantastic. But before we get to that point, we need to move on. To establish, we've got these little score lines that determine our design. But what we need to do now is establish what petal lies on top of the other petals. Now, I like to do this using a diamond football. This is a large diamond, and there's also a small one. There's also a small diamond, but using a diamond-pointed football-shaped burr is a really good way to go in and just score the material. We're going to go along the lines and score this one in front. This one, as we drop this one back and raise this one up by dropping it back, we come along here, as you'll see, and we establish that this petal sits behind this one. And then to do the next petal, we'll come in and we just follow the line. We're going to go in and come right in, and that will separate this petal behind this petal, and this petal is behind this petal.
Now I want to give you an idea about what it is exactly that I'm talking about here. Establishing one petal in front of the other at this point does not mean move the entire petal down in size. So what we've got going using the diamond football is we're going to basically, you know, just like we did with the background, we're going to run a trough. So we're cutting this down because this petal lies in front of this one. And so we kind of come around and it's going to look just like this. Okay, this petal sits in front of here. So we're going to come in and this is going to drop back a little bit further so that we can really see what's going on. Okay, this petal sits in front of all of them, so we're going to just kind of go right around, following real closely. To the design. And that's the first thing. Just stay right on it. Be really exact. Okay, I'm not as exact right here with my drawing pencil, but that's fine. Right here, this sits in front of this, which sits in front of this. So basically, we're just establishing what's on front of what. Now, right here, this sits clear in the background. This is way back here. All right, this one is behind. Just kind of draw them in nice and easy. Okay, make sure that we establish these levels as we're going on. And what we end up with is kind of something that looks exactly like this, more or less, because each one is cut down just along this area, just along the thickness of the football, not the entire thing. Okay, so we're not coming in here and dropping this entire petal down. We're not dropping this entire petal down. Okay, that's not what we're doing. We're not doing the entire petal. Okay, we are just doing right here along these edges, and we're going to go all the way around. On the inside, we're going to take this. Everything drops back behind here. All right, this inside bit, it drops down in. So this is the highest part of the carving because it's the center, which is opened up and out. Everything is behind it. Okay, from here, we just take this, come on down and around. This petal is behind that one. Okay, this sits behind all these. Now, I just go right around all this stuff. Okay, just drop this petal first. Okay, and when you come to a point where you can decide what is what, make the decision. Is this petal in front of this petal, or vice versa, or are they equal? You get to choose. So after coming around with this one, I'll come back in here and I'll stick the point of the diamond football in here a little harder, come down and establish that. All right, I'll come in, make sure this gets dropped all the way back. All right, in this area. Same thing here. I'll come back. This is behind here. Now this leaf sits behind everything, okay? So it's clear in the background behind everything else, all right? This sits behind here. This comes out, goes around, okay? This section here, this sits behind. And go through and establish all of that. And it looks just like this with kind of a trough running around each petal, establishing which petal is in front of which petal. Now, the background, okay, the background right here on the outside edge, this is already relieved. We already did that, okay? So when you're looking at this on the drawing, remember that this part on the outside edge, we've already relieved the background all the way around it. So in essence, this area here is the farthest back we're going, okay? And everything else in front of it, all the petals actually are raised up off of the final depth of the carving.
And so that's the process. We're going to go around the entire carving and just initially tell which petal is in front of which petal. The center, this I'm going to have raised. This is going to be more of a hollow inside the center of the flower. So this is going to be raised. Everything on all these petals, all the leaves, everything is going to be back behind this center ring, and this is also going to be recessed. So we're just going to indicate it with this diamond football shape.
While using a diamond football, it's important to remember that it's a diamond. It will cut, but it does not cut as fast as a carbide. That being said, with this bit, it really does come around quickly. And we're just taking off the edge right there. We're just determining what lies on top of what, like I've explained earlier. And so it's just a matter of going around, letting the tool do the work. All right, again, if you are pushing so hard that the burr is stopping in the wood, you are being too aggressive. You got to let the burr do its thing. Remember, it runs off of speed, not torque. All of the different hand pieces, the different ones you can buy, all basically have the same principle, no matter what brand you buy. So let the tool do its thing. You will notice it slow down as it goes into the material. So keep an eye on that. Listen as well as watch and determine what you need to do. The important thing here is just to continue around, trace each and every line, establishing what petal lies on top of what petal. And it's completely up to you. The design itself will tell you most of the things that are on top or on bottom just by looking at it. There are times when you have to make a judgment call. Are you going to make them even? Are you going to change that? Are you going to put one on top of the other? How do you want to do it? All right, the choice really is up to you. You are the artist. And as the artist, you got to accept that. You got to take that and make it a part of you. As the artist, you determine what the final outcome is. You don't have to go stroke by stroke with me to learn how to do this. You don't have to go stroke by stroke with another artist, another carver, to learn how to do this. It's completely up to you. You use your judgment call. You use your artistic talents. Yes, you have artistic talents. Go ahead and use them. Apply it here. Make the judgment call. You determine where everything lies, what's on the top level, what's on the bottom level, and so forth.
So there we have it. I've indicated which petal is on top of which petal. Gone around the entire piece. If I can get it just right, you can see, like right here, I went a little bit deeper right where the two petals come together to indicate which one is on top of which one. And that's all you got to do. Just go around, indicate it. Now at this point, if you were to stop right here, you go, oh man, this is just a horrible carving. This isn't all that great. But we are far from finished here. This is just the preliminary to establish which petal is on top of which. It makes it easier during the carving, the detail carving process, in order to see what is what. It just makes it a little easier instead of trying to go to the finish stage all at once. We want to build to it so that we get there when we get there. Some of the most difficult situations that I've come across is when a carver tries to go from the outline stage straight to a finished carving stage all in one step. It's much easier to break it down into smaller steps, smaller bites, that we can see the carving progress as we go along. Now this is the same process that you would take if you're using gouges or knives or anything else when it comes to relief carving. This is basically how you go through it. You want to outline it, you want to drop your background, then you want to begin the detail process, you want to establish what's on top of what, and then as we get going, we will detail this entire thing out, give it a good flow to each petal, make sure that it's detailed appropriately, and that it looks good. Okay, let's move on to the next step.